Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay. All right. Aries, Aries, Aries. I hope you all are doing well. We've just started the March of March. The month of March. So we're getting a little bit closer to that new season. All right, so it looks like a lot of this settled on one side. I just like to pull this away to see if I can see kind of a larger picture here. It looks like we have some connected events. Okay, let's see, where shall we start? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at, sorry, sometimes I just kind of get lost in these. I like to look through the little viewfinder on my camera, which I'm bumping into, and then I like to look at it with my naked eye. Okay, so I would like to start with these formations here. First, we have the 1 and the 7, so a 17. I think this is going to be an important number for you coming up in these next couple of weeks. This might be a year, somebody's age, just a number that will, come up in like synchronicity, coincidence. The universe speaking to you. something 17. So keep an eye out for that. Mark that down in your head there and let's see what that means. If it does show up, come back to this video and let me know what that was for you. Next to it, we have a lovely little person. They look like they're wearing some kind of neat little pointy hat, but they also are kind of looking through some kind of telescope or what is that called? Not binoculars, but not a looking glass. I can't think what that is called. I'm just going to say telescope. And so they're looking off in the distance. They're facing towards the left, which usually I would think is something from the past. Okay, so if they're looking to the left of the bowl, not always, but sometimes it makes me think you're really, really looking into something that has come to pass already. Okay, so I feel like there seems to be some situation that is, coming up in your psyche, definitely. Because this is placed in that material realm, I almost wonder if this is something that came up more consciously. So maybe there was like a anniversary. Maybe it's like, on social media, they have things that come up and tell you, oh, this year you were doing this, or, in your pictures, it comes up, it says, oh, 5 years ago on this day or whatever, bringing your attention to that. And I think that whatever this situation was, is something that was not necessarily a happy memory. Okay. Maybe not a happy, event. I don't know that it was catastrophic, But I think it's something that when it comes up, there's kind of a pang of sadness, maybe anxiety. And I get this impression, and I get this impression that when it comes up, you almost have this kind of attitude of, oh, it wasn't a big deal. It was already so long ago. It's already over. You know, it's not really anything. There's no reason for me to feel upset about this anymore. And I think that on some level, it's doing yourself a bit of a disservice, because I think that there are some feelings that are unresolved here. Maybe even something that was more traumatic than you have been able to really admit to yourself. Okay, so I'm not telling you to go and face this trauma or, engage it or anything like that. But I think that this is a really important time for you to be very loving to yourself. Okay, very empathetic, like you would be for somebody that you love and care for, and you knew they were coming up on an anniversary of something that was difficult, and the loving words you give them or the loving advice you would give them, now do that for yourself. Okay, even if you are dismissive of, how it could have been something little, I mean, I'm not gonna give any examples because it's all relative to you, right? But it could have been something that others perceived as small, or maybe you perceive it as small, but for some reason it really, really affected you. Okay, and I think it's just, it's just a matter of giving yourself a little bit of room to feel how you feel. And, I think that's so important in this situation here, Aries. Okay. I want to look at this S. You maybe saw it moving around over there. We have an S, and I think this is an S person, somebody with a maybe a first name or a last name that starts with the S. It could be maybe a career path they're in that starts with an S. Something important to them, that a word, an adjective, a describing word that would fit with this person possibly. But they've been on your mind, okay? And I don't know, are they related to this old situation? I'm not sure, but they feel like there's somebody that maybe is not active in your life, at least directly. Maybe it's somebody you see online. Maybe you grew up with them. Maybe you used to date, whatever it is, and they have been on your mind. So maybe a good time to reconnect with them, or, just let them know that you were thinking of them. Okay. And okay. Now I want to talk about some of the stuff that's a little more involved here. Okay. Not that the other things weren't, but I want to look at this little situation we have here in this kind of right here. Okay. So we have a person that looks like they're kind of leaning back. Their arm is lifted up to this sky, which is also in the spiritual metaphysical area. And you can kind of see there's a few little spots here, and kind of reaching for the stars, I guess you could say, right? And in my mind, I really get this vision of somebody who has really just worked their butt off in life to get where they're at. wasn't given a lot of breaks, you know, maybe was not born with a lot of privilege, and really had to, you know, do everything step by step, pretty much on their own. Maybe had support and love, which, you know, let's face it, that gets you further than a lot of things. But, you know, I think that there's been a lot of hard work. Okay, there's a lot of integrity here. You have had to conceive the dreams that you have and create them every step of the way, okay? And you have been pretty successful in achieving a lot of those dreams and goals and things that you have really put your mind to, okay? And I think a lot of this has to do with your education, with your family life, and with however you're making your money, okay? You're a hard worker, hard worker. And, you know, with the leaning back like this, I think that really this is almost kind of, it's in a state of maybe being a little off balance, but only because you've been knocked around by the universe a little bit, by the world, by maybe other people. I feel like people have, you know, undervalued you. Maybe they underestimated you, really, you know, and just didn't know exactly the ability and power and, you know, intelligence and wherewithal and cleverness and beauty and creativity and all the things that you have. And a lot of them come so naturally to you too, but you've worked so hard, okay? And I think that a lot of that has existed in your physical realm, like I said, okay? The schooling, the work, the family life, all of that. And those are, you know, amazing things. We can spend our whole life working on those things. But I feel that in the last couple of years, especially, there's been, and this could be because of the state of the world, we've all been in an existential crisis because things were upside down, okay, out of our control. And it made a lot of us wonder, what does this all mean? What am I doing? Why am I here? You know, is there more than this, right? And so I think that you have really given a lot of thought to that interior world that you maybe have not spent a ton of time in, but you definitely have access to it. It is there. And I think that you're just really looking for kind of the thing that is going to really get you in there. And so this would really be the point in some people's lives where they're looking for a religion, a spiritual system, maybe some kind of, you know, spiritual leader, a guru, an education in metaphysical things, maybe even getting into things like parapsychology or paranormal, you know, all kinds of, I mean, there's so many expressions of the mysteries, right? And so I think you're really looking for that thing that is going to click with you, okay? And is going to get you really kind of going on it. And I think that you are, with the abilities that you have had in your mundane day-to-day life, right? Surviving, building a foundation, building your, you know, metaphorical home, all of the aspects of your life, right? Getting everything in line, all of your ducks in a row, and really, really just working hard, hard, hard for the ones that you love, for yourself. Maybe you have kids or grandkids or, you know, whatever it is. And you've done so well in that. So now I think that when you are starting to apply yourself to these kinds of interior things, you're going to flourish with it, okay? It's just really a matter of figuring out what it is that makes sense to you. And even that could be things like divination or, you know, scrying. I know a lot of people get into, you know, reading tarot, and that's kind of their gateway into starting to understand the archetypes and the symbols that are related to it, the manifestations of deities and different pantheons and so on. Okay. That's, you know, definitely, I think, a popular way right now that people are getting involved. These kinds of, well, even like tea leaf reading or whatever. I mean, that could be one. But, you know, I think that there are so many opportunities for you to find something that really speaks to you. And so it's very exciting. You know, I kind of am jealous when people are coming into their interest in the occult or spirituality, or, you know, really getting into the higher learnings in religion and different, you know, kinds of magic or whatever, because it's, you know, it's been some years for me, and I kind of grew up around it, but when I was in my early 20s, is when I really got heavily interested in these things. And I just remember, I mean, even now I still have these moments where I'm just like, oh, I'm in awe, you know, and I'm totally just so inspired and taken by these concepts that arise, or when things come together and there's like a new understanding formed, right? And then it falls apart, and you have another, you know, all those pieces turn into a new understanding, and it's, you know, it's just continuous. But those first kind of that first courtship with it is, it's something beautiful. It's kind of how I think of, you know, books and movies talk about young love, first love, you know, the innocence of a new love, of, you know, those kinds of teenage, you know, hormones, and that ability to spend so much time focusing on those relationships. And that's how I feel about thinking about that time period for me with esoteria and you know, religion and alchemy especially. Yes. So anyways, I think that, you know, that's wonderful. And I think that that is going to be so healing for you. Okay. And I'm looking at this, and I think that I'm seeing these two figures. Okay. And this is interesting because the card I pulled today, and I'll show it to you, is the Art or Temperance card in the Thoth deck. And it's heavily shows, and let me just look at it. It heavily shows this kind of this mixing of elements, right? When you've gone through the dissolution or the dissolving of those initial processes, and then, you know, the elements are then recoupled, reunited, reformed, and transmuted. Okay, so this is a really beautiful, important image, right? So this is all about transformation, but also about really refining your focus on the work that you're doing. And I mean the self-work, the holy work, the spiritual work, the magical work, okay? Setting your intentions, going through the process of figuring out what your true will is. I don't like the word true because I think everything is very transient, okay? I think truth changes as much as anything, and it's all about perception, okay? And so I'm using the phrase true will, but that's my little that's my little rant about the word true. But so your true will being the most stripped down, honest expression of what motivates you. What is it that you really want? Beyond what you should want, what other people want for you, what other people want for themselves. And we kind of mimic that because that's what people do. And, that's, within whatever culture or subculture or subset that we exist within, we just want to kind of go with the flow. And we're all even people who are kind of outcasts, which I would kind of consider myself that a bit, but we all do, grasp onto things that we kind of mimic, okay? But beyond all of that, there are things that are truly, 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 and I am saying that word over and over again, our will, okay? And so, my example of that is my whole life I didn't think I wanted a family because of how I grew up. And I didn't think I wanted a child or a partner or, whatever. I didn't want to do this whole family thing. It's a family. And then as I got older, I realized that my contempt for that idea was because of where I came from. And part of me, really, that's what I desired the most, was having a partner, was having a child, hopefully, if that's what the universe wanted for me, right? And it happened, okay? And it's not the easiest thing, of course, but oftentimes what our true will ends up being is very difficult to it's a hard path to travel. And if it weren't, okay, then everybody would be living by their truth, okay? But to be truly yourself, to move from a place of authenticity and, getting rid of all of those conditioned things or those layers of stuff that we kind of even hide from we hide it from ourselves. Getting through all of that stuff and getting down to the very stripped down thing it's hard. And then it's hard when it comes to pass, right? Because then it's you have to honor that. You have to honor it and you have to figure out how to live it. And so I think that this is really part of the process that you're in right now is getting to really looking beyond all of the tedium of the world that, paying your bills, having the job you want, maybe driving the car you want, having the, wife, husband, lover, whatever person that you want, looking the way you want or whatever. Beyond all of these things and really figuring out what is it that in your heart of hearts that you want to do, okay? And what are you willing to do to accomplish that, okay? In an honest way, being honest with yourself. What are you really, really, really willing to do? And then, aligning yourself in a way, your life in a way to create a space so that these things can happen. And this is self-alchemy, truly, okay? I'm stuck on that freaking word now. You ever do that where it's like you get a word in your psyche and then you can't stop saying it? So I think that this beautiful image here, it's the two beings coming together, okay? And I think that this is like a union. And that's very much like the union of the solar and lunar, which you can see here, right? Okay. And above it, I see kind of this grouping of almost vultures. Oh, and let me move this back. Can we see this grouping of almost vultures? Okay. And so I think that it's going to be difficult in some ways for you as you are succeeding more and more, because it's almost like that, you know, when somebody is pregnant and people, and this is probably because, I think it's because of your hormones, but your skin looks nice, you're glowing, you know, not everybody's like, I know I was not. I looked pretty haggard, most of it. Granted, a lot of it was during, you know, that thing that we were all going through, we were all quarantining and stuff. So it was hard, to try to look nice during my pregnancy. But anyways, the point is, when people say that, okay, you look beautiful and you're glowing and you're vibrant, and pregnant women often are, okay? But I think this is also true when you're going through parts of your spiritual journey. And some of it's really difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of suffering, depression, you know, the melancholy, the terror, just being disheveled and all that. But then there are parts where, you know, you get into those almost kind of bliss states, or you get into a place where everything's flowing and connecting and coming together. And there are going to be people that just don't like to see you succeeding in that way. And they, you know, you're going to get that when you're on point and you're making money and you're making your moves and you're, you know, doing the job that you want to do, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And there's always going to be people who are going to hate on you during those moments of success. So there are also going to be people that just cannot freaking handle that you are getting your spiritual into alignment. Okay. And they're going to come out of the woodwork. It happens. It happens. It happens. And sometimes it is people that you would never think would act that way towards you. Okay. And there's something about us being spiritually aligned, or having that real connection to divinity, to the, you know, people love to say you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, you know, you're brainwashed, you're in a cult, whatever it is. And listen, some of that stuff does happen. Some people become very unwound and lose touch with themselves. They already have mental health issues, and okay, those things can happen for sure. But there are also people who are just going to be super dismissive and mean and just not have positive, uplifting words for you. And I think, you know, the point of me going on about this is that please ignore that. Okay. Don't let it get to you. Just don't let it get to you. Okay. People are just, people that are miserable do not like it when other people are not miserable, right? And they're going to make sure that you at least question yourself. And please don't, you know, of course, have a healthy amount of, I was going to say healthy amount of cynicism, but, you know, critical thinking, and, you know, just don't always go with everything the first thought, okay? But you know, just try to ignore it. It sucks but it's gonna happen. Okay. I even on these freaking YouTubes get some just mean messages. I moderate my husband's comments a lot, and like some of those ones are just so mean. I've had them on this channel too, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Whew, people are just rude sometimes. They're not nice. Okay, and I want to look at this one really quick right here. This one is a sword with the stone. And do you know this, the myth of the sword and the stone? It's the Arthurian myth. And this is the boy that there's a stone, it has a sword in it. The person that can pull it out is going to be king of the kingdom. Nobody can do it. People come from all over. They can't do it. And then this little boy, who is a page, I think, comes and he pulls the sword out. And I think it's King Arthur, right? Or is it somebody else? I don't know. Maybe his predecessor. I can't really remember that part. I'm thinking of the cartoon. But I really do think that you have, and this goes back with what I've said, people have always underestimated you, or just like not really looked deeply into how like clever, intelligent, capable you are with the things that you do. And I don't know why that is, but it has happened to work out that way. But I really think that you are going to continue to succeed, and to the point where you're going to get more and more attention. And that, I think the more attention that you get, the more these kind of vultures are going to be hanging around with their stinky opinions about things. Okay. I see this little house here, and to me that means that your house is in order. It's solid. You're doing really well in that way. I think that physically you're doing good. The house often to me represents kind of that holy temple, that home. My holy temple is my home, but it's also the body, okay? The flesh, the flesh thing that we live in, okay? And I think that you're doing well with that. Maybe you've been exercising, drinking all the water you need to, you know, eating the good foods, all of that. I think that that's wonderful. You know, get your steps in there. Keep it up. Keep it up. And let's see, I have one more little area here, and we're getting a little long on time. We have a J right there. Okay, so look out for a J. My cup is getting dry as well. So I'm just going to look at this. And this one looks like... It looks like, I'm going to say that this is almost like a fertility, because we have kind of the lingam, if you know what that is, look it up if you don't, the male aspect of the fertility, and then more of the female, okay, in here. And so what does this mean? I don't know. Are you trying to have kids? Are you hoping for grandkids? If not, beware. Don't, you know, be smart, be safe. I don't know. Within this context, the only thing I can think is really also just, it doesn't always have to be like, you know, on the nose like that. It could also be that this is part of, and this is maybe part of this card too, the art card. So creating from that, that place of mixing, the amalgamation of things, or, you know, a composite of things. So that means taking from all aspects of life, bringing it together and combining it. This could be a good time for you to start like a creative project, something that expresses how you're feeling, the experiences you're having in your spiritual work. The other thing that I would say is think about journaling, keeping a documentation of your dreams, your impressions, aspirations, any kind of visitations that you're having from, you know, in your dreams or in the physical world. If you're having, you know, entities or intelligences or like loved ones sending you messages, things like that. Keep it all documented for yourself, okay? And I think really it's the richness, the fertile ground that you're working in, that beautiful earth that you've been, you know, working. And I think that these things are really coming together for you. I think it's very beautiful. I think that you have that confidence. You just have to sometimes hear it from somebody else, okay? And I'm here to tell you, you are on point. And I want to look at this one. I was just looking at this real quick. It's a little bird sitting on like a perch, and these beautiful little, it looks like it's singing a song, okay? And I think this is just totally confirmation for me that you have just this abundance of creative matter in you right now, and it's just wanting to get out. It's like a beautiful song a bird is singing. Plus, in the northern hemisphere, we're going into spring, and what is better than all the songbirds returning? They're singing beautiful songs. They're out there trying to mate. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful time, okay? And I want to look at this really quick. It looks like we have a little boat, so maybe a little bit of a journey. This could be part of that transmutation, transitioning movement, okay? I think really sailing in the unconscious, looking for a lot of inspiration and maybe some vision work in your dreams. Go into your sleeping thinking, you know, intentionally that you want to have dreams that will inspire you. Situations in your dreams that you can remember so you can write them down. And these are really going to be very fruitful for that spiritual work, okay? We also have birds in flight. So that's same thing, that movement, that freedom. And yeah, I think that's, I'm trying to look at this one. Okay, so I think that also what I feel like right in here, I'm trying to think. It feels like maybe there's going to be like a minor situation coming up. Something that, and this I think ties into you looking into your past. I think something from your past is going to be a little disruptive. Maybe a situation that came, already passed, and is going to affect, I don't know, communication with somebody. Maybe some kind of secret revealed, or maybe like I'm almost getting this idea of applying for like a job or a loan or something, and something is coming up, maybe like in your credit or on your background check or something. And I think that just, you know, really honesty is going to get you all the way here. Okay. And I think it's going to be a minor blip, not a big problem. Okay. Okay. I think that's it, Aries. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. I enjoy it so, so much. And thank you for watching the readings. And I hope you come back and watch some more. If you be so kind, please like the video. It helps me get into the algorithm. If you have not subscribed already, think about doing that. You can hit the little bell thing. It will let you know when more videos are coming out, usually one every day. And once I get to 5,000, I'm going to try to start doing 2 a day. So every sign will be once a week. Other than that, If you'd leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me know what that 17 meant. Okay, thank you, Aries. Many blessings to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.